Your identity is the foundation of everything you experience in life. It shapes how you see yourself, how you act, and what you believe is possible. But the truth is, most people live trapped inside a false identity, an identity built from limiting beliefs, past failures, and the opinions of others. They let their past define their future, and they carry stories like, I'm not confident, I'm not good enough, or I can't succeed because of my background. These stories become their prison, but the most powerful truth is this: your identity is not fixed, it is flexible. You are not your limitations, you are your potential. The only thing holding you back is the state you're living in and the story you're telling yourself. The moment you shift your state, you break free from those false limits and step into a version of yourself that is powerful, capable, and unstoppable. Maybe son, your state, your emotional and physical energy controls everything. Think about it. When you're in a high energy state, you feel confident, strong, and ready to conquer anything. But when your state is low, even the smallest challenge feels overwhelming. Your state directly impacts your identity, and your identity shapes your destiny. But here's the key. Your state is something you can change instantly. You don't need to wait for permission or inspiration. You can shift your state right now through your focus, your language, and your movement. Where your focus goes, energy flows. If you focus on what's missing, what you can't control, or why things are hard, you'll feel powerless. But if you shift your focus to what you can control, to what's possible, to what you're grateful for, your energy and mindset transform immediately. The fastest way to change your state is through your physiology, because motion creates emotion. When you stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with power, you feel powerful. Your body and mind are connected. When you move like a winner, think like a winner, and act like a winner, your identity shifts. You become a winner. Too many people wait to feel confident before they act confident. But confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you create through action. You don't feel powerful and then act powerful, you act powerful, and the feeling follows. Change your posture, change your voice, change your energy, and your identity will follow suit. Along with your physiology, your language shapes your identity. The words you speak, both out loud and in your mind, create your reality. People use language to limit themselves. I'm bad with money, I'm not a people person, or I always fail at relationships. These statements become self-fulfilling prophecies. Change your language and you change your identity. Instead of I can't, say I must. Instead of I don't know how, say I will figure it out. When you speak with certainty, you create a new reality for yourself. Your state drives your story, and your story shapes your identity. When you break the old patterns of your state, you break the old stories that kept you small. And when your identity expands, your entire life expands. Nothing changes until you do, but when you shift your state and step into a new version of yourself, everything changes. Your past does not equal your future unless you live there. Shift your state, shift your story, and you shift your destiny. There is a force inside you that can break through any limitation and destroy any obstacle. That force is your inner warrior. The warrior is the part of you that knows how to fight for what you want, how to push through pain, and how to keep going when everything inside you says to quit. Most people lose because they negotiate with their limitations. They listen to their doubts and let fear decide their actions. But the warrior doesn't negotiate, the warrior acts. The warrior knows that fear is not a stop sign, it's a signal to move forward. The difference between people who achieve their goals and those who don't is never talent or luck. It's their ability to fight through fear and take massive action. The warrior within you is fueled by courage, and courage is not the absence of fear, it is action in spite of fear. Fear will always be there. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. But the warrior faces fear head on and says, I will not let you stop me. Courage is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows through use. The more you push through fear, the less power it has over you. Every time you act despite fear, you train your mind to see fear not as a threat, but as a doorway to growth. On the other side of fear is everything you desire, but you will never reach it without stepping through the discomfort. The warrior knows this and chooses action over comfort every time. The warrior also knows that results come from persistence. Too many people quit when it gets hard. They stop at the first obstacle, the first failure, the first rejection. But success is never a straight line, it's a battle. The warrior understands that failure is part of the process. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. The warrior uses setbacks as fuel to fight harder. When most people say, I can't, the warrior says, watch me. When most people say, this is impossible, the warrior says, this is where I begin. The power of the warrior is not just in physical strength, but in mental toughness. It's in the ability to control your mind when everything around you is chaos. Discipline is the weapon of the warrior. Discipline means doing what you said you would do long after the mood you set it in has left you. It means showing up when you don't feel like it, pushing through when it's uncomfortable, and staying consistent when results are slow. The warrior doesn't rely on motivation because motivation is temporary. The warrior relies on commitment and discipline, which are unbreakable. The most powerful tool the warrior has is decision. When you truly decide, when you cut off every other possibility, you give yourself no option but to succeed. Vision creates power. The problem is that most people never decide. They stay in maybe, and maybe kills dreams. The warrior decides and then takes massive action. There is no waiting for the perfect moment because the warrior knows that the perfect moment is now. When you awaken your warrior, you become unstoppable. You stop waiting, stop hesitating, and start attacking your goals with everything you have. The warrior doesn't hope for success. The warrior demands it, not from the world, but from themselves. And when you live with that kind of power, there are no limits. There are no excuses. There is only victory. The visionary is the part of you that sees beyond limitations. It is the force within that creates a future before it exists. Without vision, you live in reaction, stuck in the same patterns, the same struggles, and the same results. But with vision, you create from a place of power. You don't wait for life to happen, you make life happen. Vision is not just about goals, it's about clarity of purpose. It's about knowing what you truly want and why you want it. When your vision is strong enough, nothing can stop you, not fear, not failure, and not doubt. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who don't is not talent. It's the power of their vision. Vision starts with clarity. Most people are vague about what they want, so they get vague results. But when your vision is crystal clear, when you can see it, feel it, and live it in your mind, it becomes real. The brain cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is real. So the clearer your vision, the more your mind works to make it a reality. Clarity gives you direction. It transforms dreams into targets and desires into outcomes. Without clarity, you drift. But with it, you move with unstoppable momentum. You know where you're going, and every action you take moves you closer to your destination. A powerful vision is always driven by purpose. It's not enough to know what you want. You must know why you want it. Without a compelling reason, you will quit when things get hard. But when your vision is connected to your deepest values, your drive becomes unstoppable. Challenges become fuel, setbacks become lessons, and failure becomes feedback. When you have a strong enough reason, you'll do whatever it takes. You'll rise earlier, stay later, and push harder because your vision isn't a wish, it's a mission. Vision is also about possibility. It's about seeing beyond your current circumstances and believing in a future that doesn't exist yet. Most people are limited by their past. They let their failures, fears, and history dictate their future. But visionaries don't live from their history. They live from their destiny. They see not what is, but what could be. They don't ask, is this possible? They ask, how can I make this possible? This mindset shift is everything. Your future is not limited by your resources. It's limited by your resourcefulness. The greatest visionaries have built empires from nothing, not because they had more advantages, but because they had more vision. Vision alone, however, is not enough. It must be combined with massive action. You can't just dream it, you must do it. You must act every day as if your vision is already real. Consistent action builds momentum, and momentum creates breakthroughs. The greatest enemy of vision is hesitation. Too many people wait for the perfect time or the right opportunity, but visionaries know that the perfect time is now. They don't wait for certainty, they create it. Finally, vision is contagious. When you truly believe in your vision, you inspire others to believe in it too. People follow clarity, passion, and certainty. When you embody your vision fully, you attract opportunities, resources, and people who can help you bring it to life. Your vision becomes a magnet for success. In the end, the future belongs to those who create it. With a clear vision, a strong purpose, and massive action, there are no limits to what you can achieve. The question is not whether your vision is possible. The question is whether you are willing to see it, believe it, and act on it until it becomes real. The lover is the part of you that connects through emotion, passion, and heart. It is the energy that fuels relationships, builds deep connections, and creates moments that truly matter. Without the lover, life becomes mechanical, tasks, goals, and achievements without meaning. Success without connection is empty, and power without love is cold. True fulfillment comes from meaningful relationships, and meaningful relationships are built through the lover within you, the part that leads with empathy, vulnerability, and generosity. The lover understands that love is not just a feeling, it is an action. It is about giving, sharing, and deeply connecting with others without expecting anything in return. The lover knows that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. If you cannot love yourself, your strengths, your flaws, your journey, you will struggle to fully love another. Self-love is not about arrogance, it is about acceptance. It means knowing your worth, setting boundaries, and treating yourself with the same kindness you give others. When you embody self-love, you show up in relationships from a place of wholeness, not neediness. You stop looking for someone to complete you and start sharing from a place of fullness. Relationships are not about finding the right person, they are about being the right person. The lover also understands that connection is created through presence. Most people don't truly listen. They hear words but miss the emotions behind them. But when you are fully present, when you listen with your heart, not just your ears, you create a space where others feel seen, heard, and valued. Presence is powerful because it says, you matter, you are important. In a world full of distraction, presence is a rare and priceless gift. The lover knows that it is not the grand gestures, but the small, consistent moments of attention that build lasting bonds. A soft touch, a kind word, a moment of shared silence. These are the languages of the lover. The lover also teaches that vulnerability is strength, not weakness. Most people build walls to protect themselves from being hurt, but those walls also keep out love. True intimacy requires the courage to be seen,